Chosen one, can you feel it? That eerie stillness, right before the storm breaks, the shift in the air, the silence in certain circles, the fake smiles, twitching, because something is coming. And deep down, you already know. The curtains are being pulled back, the masks are slipping, and for the first time in a long time, the truth is louder than the lies. Yes, I'm talking about the truth they tried to bury you under. The conspiracy they whispered behind closed doors. The web of control spun like a spider's trap, trying to keep you stuck in a story you never agreed to play. But that chapter is done. The gavel has fallen in the unseen courts of heaven, and justice has been released like fire upon the altar. Let me break it down for you. Multiple arrests are now in motion. Not just arrests in the physical, but in the spiritual, the energetic, the emotional. The first domino has fallen, and with it, the entire tower built on deception is trembling. These aren't small-time games. This is a divine sting operation, a full-blown takedown of networks that have operated in the shadows, controlling, stealing, monitoring you. The employer who always overlooked you. The friend who fed you false support while secretly praying for your downfall. Even family members, ones you trusted, who masked jealousy as concern. One by one, the wolves are being exposed, not by you, chosen one, but by God himself. You see, you were never crazy for sensing what didn't add up. The unease, the cold energy, the sudden doors slamming shut with no explanation. That wasn't paranoia. It was your divine discernment trying to warn you. You're not just emotionally intelligent, you're spiritually armed. You've been walking through the fog, collecting receipts, observing patterns, enduring betrayal, in silence. But silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Because heaven was watching, and heaven was documenting everything. Now the report has been filed. The warrants have been released, spiritually and literally, and those who thought they were untouchable, they're the main event in a courtroom of divine order. The energy has shifted, and now, you are the talk of the town, not for scandal, but for resurrection. Not because you fell, but because you rose, stronger, wiser, untouchable. Think of it like this. The enemy built their lies like a house of cards, tall, flashy, unstable. They thought they had won when you disappeared. They mistook your silence as surrender. But what they didn't realize is that while they were clapping for your collapse, heaven was preparing your comeback. And that comeback doesn't whisper, it roars. So chosen one, this is your moment. The stage has been set, the spotlight is divine, and every false narrative, every twisted truth, every spiritual attack that tried to destroy you is now collapsing under the weight of divine exposure. You are not delusional. You are not imagining this. The veil is lifting, the shadows are scattering, and the world is about to see what heaven always knew. You were chosen, not to suffer, but to rise, not to break, but to build, not to hide, but to lead. The arrest of darkness has begun, and you are the living proof that no weapon formed against the chosen one will ever prosper. Chosen one, do you know who your greatest enemy has been all along? Not the loud accuser, not the obvious hater, but the one who looks too much like you, the one who mirrors your steps, matches your energy, but walks with a crooked purpose. Yes, a shadow version of you, the reflection of who you could have become if you had chosen fear over faith, pride over purpose, control over calling. This isn't just some random enemy. No, this is spiritual warfare in its most personal form. For years, they've studied you like a blueprint. They've mimicked your light while secretly plotting your fall. Same gender, same gift, but a twisted heart. They wanted to be you, chosen one, but not in the way you were destined. They didn't want the pain you've endured, the battles you fought, the sacrifice it cost you to walk this path. They only wanted your crown, without paying the price. This is the face behind the sabotage, the quiet architect of your closed doors, your sudden delays, your confusion in moments that should have been clarity. They pretended to clap for you, while cursing your name behind curtains. But God sees in secret, and what's done in darkness is now being dragged into light. They are no longer hidden. The masks are melting. Their spiritual fingerprints are on everything. And heaven is building the case. Here's what makes this battle even more profound. This person was never just trying to ruin your reputation. They were trying to replace you. They've studied your movements, spoken like you, dressed like you, even entered spaces designed for you, hoping no one would notice. But energy doesn't lie. Spirit doesn't lie. Destiny doesn't lie. And now, schosenone, the anointing on your life is burning their imitation to ash. What you're seeing is not coincidence. It's exposure, divine reversal, spiritual reflection at its climax. This person is your dark echo, the warning of what you could have become if you had bowed to bitterness instead of healing, if you had chosen revenge instead of righteousness, if you had let the pain make you a manipulator instead of a warrior. Isaiah 54:17 says it plainly, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper," and that includes weapons wrapped in false friendship, weapons wearing familiar faces, weapons that look like you but war against what God placed inside you. Chosen one, this isn't just personal, it's prophetic. Their time is up, and your vindication has begun. Chosen one, you've been wondering why the pressure was always so specific, so unrelenting, coming from every direction like a coordinated storm. It wasn't random, it wasn't bad luck. It was a design, engineered by a diabolical duo who made your downfall their shared mission. One stole from your pockets, the other tried to erase your name. While you were busy healing, they were busy scheming, dividing tasks like dark agents on a sacred assassination contract. This isn't just spiritual interference. This is spiritual conspiracy. For years, this couple moved in silence, operating behind veils of charm, community, or even family. One handled the money, siphoning your blessings, delaying your harvest, intercepting opportunities before they reached your hands. The other waged war on your character, whispering lies into rooms you hadn't even walked into yet, crafting narratives so convincing, even you began to doubt your worth. But here's what they underestimated: divine order. You see, chosen one, heaven keeps records even when humans delete files. Every manipulation, every stolen coin, every word designed to stain your name, it was all recorded. And now the tables are turning, one judgment at a time. This couple thought their alliance made them untouchable, but what they really formed was a chain of bondage. And now that chain is snapping. You were the target, but you were also the test, and they failed it spectacularly. Whispers from the soul. Truth doesn't need to scream. It echoes when lies collapse. So keep your peace, because justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it moves through timelines, through exposure, through divine unraveling. And chosen one, you were never losing. You were being set up for a public redemption that even your enemies will have to witness. Chosen one, some betrayals don't come from strangers. Some of the deepest wounds carry your last name. It wasn't your enemy in the street that first taught you to question yourself. It was the voice inside your home, the ones who should have protected you, the ones who were supposed to speak life into your destiny, instead whispered limitations into your young mind. And you believed them, because as a child, how could you not? You didn't enter this world doubting yourself. You were programmed to. Every time you hesitated to dream big, that was a script handed down. Every time you sabotaged a breakthrough, that was inherited guilt playing itself out. This wasn't normal family dysfunction. This was spiritual sabotage in disguise. They disguised their fear as advice, their jealousy as concern. They kept you small, not because you weren't capable, but because your light exposed the shadows they never dared confront. But here's what they never expected, that the one they tried to tame would one day wake up, that the one they tried to shrink would rise. Psalm 27:10. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Chosen one, heaven saw what you endured in silence, and heaven chose you to break the cycle. You are not here to repeat their patterns. You are here to rewrite the legacy. You're not disloyal for walking away. You're not cold for protecting your peace. You are obedient to the divine call on your life. Because family doesn't end with blood, it begins with truth. And in this truth, you are finally free. Chosen one, you're not imagining it. You were never just too sensitive or too dramatic. That heaviness in the room, that shift in the air, those silent tensions in the people around you, they were real. And now, you're finally connecting the dots. The isolation wasn't accidental. The smear campaigns weren't random. The emotional games, the hot and cold love, the subtle sabotage, the guilt that never quite made sense. They were strategic, calculated, coordinated. This wasn't just a dysfunctional family. This was a spiritual battlefield, disguised as dinner tables, holidays, and fake concern. You were the light, and they were a network of shadow souls, drawn to your glow, yet terrified by it. The enemy never attacked what wasn't a threat. You were hunted, not because you were weak, but because you carried a light they couldn't comprehend. A frequency they couldn't duplicate, a destiny they could never steal, only delay. But now, your third eye is open. You're seeing through the masks, through the manipulation, through the script they tried to trap you in. Soul whisper, you're not crazy. You've been hunted by those who feared the light you carry. Chosen one, this was never about just surviving your upbringing. This was about decoding it, about realizing that your entire life has been a spiritual operation. And now, the strategy is clear. You're not just surviving anymore. You're seeing. Chosen one, they thought you'd stay silent. They thought the trauma would paralyze your truth. They thought the lies, the losses, the gaslighting would swallow your spirit whole. But what they didn't realize is that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means gathering. It means watching. It means sharpening. You weren't sleeping. You were healing in stealth mode. And now, you're returning. Not as the broken version they left behind, but as the awakened one. The version of you that remembers, that speaks, that sees, that roars. You are no longer bound by the invisible chains of manipulation, the generational trauma, the self-doubt coded into your DNA, the soul contracts forged in fear. You are breaking the pattern. You are rewriting the script. You are canceling the assignment that was never yours to carry. The curse is cracking. The silence is shattering. The old version of you, the one who dimmed their light to survive, has stepped aside for the real you to rise. You no longer speak from the pain. You speak from the power that pain has forged. This is not a comeback. This is a divine return, a cosmic re-entry. And heaven isn't watching from afar. Heaven is backing you up. Archangel Michael has been dispatched on your behalf. Not generally, not vaguely, specifically, assigned, commissioned, activated. Psalm 91:11. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. You're not walking alone anymore. You're walking shielded. Every step you take now is guarded. Every breath you breathe now is protected. Every attack that comes near you will ricochet back tenfold, because you carry the signature of the throne on your spirit. And yes, you feel it. The frequency is shifting. The wind in your life is changing direction. It's not just favor. It's not just breakthrough. It's the sound of chains breaking in the spiritual realm. People don't recognize you anymore, and that's the point. They knew the version of you that was shrinking. They knew the version of you that was surviving. But this version, the one who speaks with authority, moves with clarity, and lives with discernment, they don't know what to do with you because this you is untouchable. Your voice is no longer shaky, it's strategic. Your energy is no longer leaking, it's laser focused. Your spirit is no longer begging, it's blazing. This isn't just healing, this is divine justice made visible. This is spiritual vindication in real time. You are the proof that resurrection is real, not just of the body, but of identity, of purpose, of destiny. Let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them circle around your name like vultures looking for the past version of you. They won't find them. You've returned, crowned with truth, dressed in discernment, walking in heaven's jurisdiction, chosen one. The chains are broken, the angels are active, and the comeback is personal, not just for you, but for every generation that came before you and everyone that will come after. Chosen one, what they built in darkness is now unraveling in the light. What they whispered behind closed doors is now being echoed across realms. Because when heaven moves, nothing and no one can stand in its way. You are witnessing it with your own eyes. Power structures shifting, hidden alliances breaking. Those who once sat above the law are now standing face to face with the law of the Spirit. This isn't just about human courts. This is multi-dimensional justice. This is courtroom meets kingdom. This is not just retribution, it's restoration. Every lie they told is being reversed. Every soul they tried to turn against you is awakening. Every false narrative they built is collapsing like a house of cards in a storm of truth. What looked like a delay was divine coordination. What felt like silence was God assembling the evidence. And now, the arrests aren't just physical, they're energetic, they're ancestral, they're eternal. Those who thought they could forge contracts in darkness are now finding themselves summoned by light. They forged alliances thinking heaven wasn't watching, but heaven was documenting. The wealth they stole, returning. The time they wasted, redeemed. The peace they shattered, restored, and multiplied. Because justice is not limited to a judge's gavel. Justice is a frequency, a divine verdict. And when your soul is aligned, it rings louder than any courtroom echo. Soul whispers, the justice of the Lord is never late. It arrives exactly when your soul is ready to carry the crown without apology. So don't flinch when their towers fall. Don't doubt when their masks drop. You weren't just a victim, you were a witness chosen for such a time as this. And now, you are the walking proof. That divine justice delivers. Every single time. Chosen one. You're not just picking up the pieces, you're laying new foundations. This is not a return to what was. This is the birthing of what never was before. The locust years, the silent seasons, the betrayals, the stolen time, heaven saw it all. And now heaven is repaying with interest. You're not just getting back what was taken, you're being compensated for every tear cried in silence, rewarded for every moment you kept believing when nothing around you made sense, elevated for every time you chose faith instead of bitterness. God is restoring years, not just things. This is compound restoration, not a return to neutral, but a launch into overflow. That trust fund they hid, that love they poisoned, that path they tried to block, all of it is now open, multiplied, clarified, glorified. Because when God restores, He doesn't just bring back what was lost, He builds better. You're walking into a new realm, a kingdom era where your peace is protected, Your name is honored and your love is divinely chosen. You're no longer surviving on fragments of love. You are choosing between two sacred connections, your twin flame or a high-level soulmate, not from fear, not from trauma, but from divine alignment. This is what happens when the curse is broken, when the lies are exposed, when the chains fall and the soul remembers who it is. You are not returning to the past. You are building a new world, a world where your voice is no longer silenced, where your heart is no longer deceived, where your light is no longer dimmed. Joel 2:25. I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. Final soul, whisper, you didn't just survive, you resurrected, and now you are unstoppable.